Good morning. My name is Trevor Fujimoto, and I will be your chairperson for today's service. Are there any visitors or new students and families here this morning? If so, welcome to our temple. Could those of you sitting near them help to find the proper pages for the sutras, gathas, and readings? Thank you. First, we'll have Sambujo on page 24 in the big book, followed by sutra chanting Juseige on page 23 in the little book, or page 93 in the big book. The page numbers for the sutra book will be displayed on the front screen and on your monitors at home, so please follow along. Now we will have Gatha, We Are One, which is the first song in the yellow handout, followed by the Golden Chain, which is located on page 2 in the Little Book, or page 15 in the Big Book under Golden Chain 1.
Come gather round, hand in hand, listen to Amida's teaching. Listen with your heart, listen with your mind to Amida Buddha's teachings. Namo Amida Butsu, singing Namo Amida Butsu. All of the world is bright, singing Namo Amida Butsu, we are one. Peace and harmony in Mida's land, peace and harmony within me. Put our heart together, bow in hands, thankful for the Mida Buddha. Namo Amida Butsu, singing Namo Amida Butsu. All of the world is bright, singing Namo Amida Butsu, we are one.
The golden chain. I'm a link in Amita's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. I will be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amita's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida
Namo
Butsu.
Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Now we will have a Dharma lesson by Reverend Jones.
Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Well, good morning. Welcome to this morning's service. Thanks for joining us here. Thanks for those of you joining us from home or watching the recording later. Appreciate it. So it's good to be back. Been gone for a little while. Spent a couple weeks up in Berkeley, so it's good to be out. So today we're recognizing the importance and contributions of Eshinni and Kakushinni. And I'm also going to talk about a third woman who we rarely talk about, but without whom, in my opinion, none of us would be here as part of Jodo Shinshu tradition today. But more about her later. So who knows who Eshinni was? Yes? Shinran's wife. So thank you. So Shinran is here on the right, to your right of Amida. So she was the wife of Shinran, the founder of our sect of Buddhism. And there's not a lot of information about her. You know, we believe that she was about 9 years younger than Shinran and that she lived to be about 86 years old. She had 6 children with Shinran. Most scholars today believe that she was the daughter of a powerful man in the Etsuko region named Miyoshi Tamenori. As such, she spent considerable time in the household of an imperial regent named Kujo Kanazane. And it was in this household that Honen, Shinran's teacher, was a guest, and where Shinran first met Honen, and probably where Shinran met Eshinni. There are several important things to remember about Eshinni. First and foremost is that without her, we may have never been certain of Shinran's existence. It was the discovery in 1921 of her letters to Shinran which validated the fact that Shinran was a real person. So there are no formal records verifying the existence of Shinran. We have stories that hint at his life story, but nothing that would satisfy a historian as they were looking for at the existence of an individual who accomplished the various things that Shinran is said to have completed. Even when these historians took a look at Shinran's most important work, the Kyogyo Shinsho, those historians wondered if this really was the work of several authors and it was all cobbled together into a single document by various people. The discovery of Eshinni's letters written to Shinran while she was in Etsuko and he was in Kyoto proved that there was, in fact, an individual named Shinran. And also, Eshinni was extremely supportive of Shinran and his teaching. In fact, she believed that he was the embodiment of the Bodhisattva of Avalokitesvara, also known as Kannon. And without the benefit of the land that she owned, I'm not certain that Shinran could have focused his time on writing and teaching. So Eshinni is on your right on the Mayajoku, the front table. So who knows who Kakushinni was? Yes, in the back. Very good. She was Shinran and Eshinni's youngest daughter. Exactly right. She was born in 1224 and lived to be about 59 years old. And the year 1224 is important for a couple of other reasons as well. It's the year that we consider Jodo Shinshu to have been founded, because that's the year that Shinran completed his masterwork, the Kyogyo Shinsho. And it was also the year that so it was both the year that she was born, the year that Jodo Shinshu was said to have started, because of the completion of the Kyoyo Shinshu. After Shinran's years of exile, he eventually returned to Kyoto. But Eshinni went back to Etsuko to look after the land that she had inherited. And therefore, it was Kakushinni who went with Shinran to Kyoto and took care of Shinran in the final years of his life. After he died, Kakushinni remarried. Her first husband had passed on some years earlier. And her current second husband allowed her to build a memorial to Shinran on his land. And the memorial became a popular site for Shinran's followers to visit. In this way, Kakushinni became the first head of what we now call Hongwanji. But she was never recognized for this. And that was because, well, she was a woman. And in that time and in that society, women weren't recognized for what they did. Their accomplishment went toward what their husbands did, or what the oldest male in the household did. When Kakushinni died, she left the property and memorial to the people of the Kanto region, where most of Shinran's followers lived. But she also designated her son from her first marriage, Kakue, to be the caretaker. And she designated that her descendants were to be the caretakers of the memorial from then forward. And that continues, by the way, to this day. So it could be said that Jodo Shinshu and the Hongwanji would never have been founded as a sect of Buddhism and as a formal organization had it not been for Kakushinni's dedication to her father. As I noted earlier, there's a third woman I want to mention. We don't even know her name. This woman was the mother of Renyo. She was a servant in the household of Renyo's grandfather and father, and Renyo, whose picture we see to your left of Amida, was born in the year 1415, so a couple of generations, a couple of centuries after Shinran. When Renyo was just 6 years old, his father married a woman named Nyoen. Once his father had a legal wife, Renyo's mother decided to leave the household. However, before she left, she told the young Renyo that he should restore Shinran's tradition during his lifetime. The teachings of Shinran have been taught and handed down for almost 2 centuries. And the Hongwanji, this is now the worldwide organization that our temple and all the temples of the Buddhist churches of America belong to, had been established in the years after Shinran's death. But over the years between Shinran's memorial being established in the late 1200s and the time of Renyo's birth, some 150 years later, the Hongwanji had become disorganized and lacked direction. At the age of 15, some 9 years after his mother's departure, Renyo vowed to restore the Hongwanji and Shinran's teachings, just as his mother had requested. At age 17, Renyo was ordained and started his journey that led him to being recognized as the second founder of Jodo Shinshu and the 8th Monshu of our tradition. The Monshu, or Gomonshu to be more honorific, is the religious head of our worldwide organization. If it were not for Renyo's efforts, the Hongwanji and Jodo Shinshu might not have survived. And if you look at the picture over on the wall to your far left, that's Senyo Shonin, the 25th and current Monshu of the Nishi Hongwanji, and he's a direct generational descendant of Shinran and Renyo. So these 3 women, Eshinni, Kakushinni, and Renyo's mothers, deserve our respect and our gratitude. Without them, we would have never known Shinran's teachings. Sadly, the primary reason they didn't get recognition that they deserved was that they were women. But had it not been for their efforts, there would be no Jodo Shinshu and no Hongwanji. Therefore, there would be no Nishi Hongwanji Ha, no Buddhist Churches of America, and no San Jose Betsuin. This was the story of how 3 women impacted thousands and maybe even millions of lives over the past 800 years. And that includes their impact on your parents and on you. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Jones. We will now have Sayonara on page 103 in the Little Service Book, followed by the Promise, located on page 5 in the Little Book, or page 15 in the Big Book.
Sayonara, minasan, gokigenyo. Sayonara, seisei o daiji ni. Tanoshii kondo no tsudoi made.
The Promise. We thank the Buddha for showing us the way of freedom. We will endeavor to walk in his noble path every day of our lives. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Namo Amida Butsu. Namo.
Thank you to Rinban Sakamoto, Reverend Mikame, Reverend Jones, Mr. Akizuki, Mrs. Tanabe, Organist Mrs. Jones, and AV Coordinator Mr. Onishi. Are there any announcements?
Good morning, May Kawamoto. Just letting you know that our fourth grade teacher is not available today, so we'll have the fourth grade class join second and third grade again this week. Thank you.
Are there any more announcements? Before everyone leaves the temple, please straighten all the books for the next service. Those of you who are interested are welcome to attend the adult English service following this service. For your safety, please obey the crossing guards and look both ways before crossing the street. Thank you for attending today's service.
shoulder. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for dinner the other day. Oh, yeah. It was fun. Great. Yes, a lot of fun. Oh, my goodness. It's really spectacular. Good morning.
So let me make a quick announcement. So the truck, orange truck of the Toyota, the lights is on. So if you own the truck, orange Toyota one, so please go ahead and then check your check your check it before your battery dies. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Heather Kitasoe, and I would like to welcome everyone to this morning's Eshinni Kakushinni Lady Ohtani Memorial Service. Before we begin this morning's service, just a reminder that there are no food or drinks in the hondo. Also, please turn off your cell phones. Thank you. Do we have anyone who is here for the first time? Welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself? Great. Thanks for coming. And welcome, yeah. We will begin this morning's service with Sambujo on page 24 in the large service book, followed by sutra chanting Sanbutsuge on page 22 in the small Dharma school service book, and page 79 in the large service book. The page numbers for the sutra book will be displayed on the front screen and on your monitors at home, so please follow along.
근영은 너 겐쇼 근야 그인요 거자 쇼무 주생아이 먹응앙에 무슈세주노 공여시쇼 헨시쇼 먹근여세쇼지 이진난요령아 사무주 공운노 나이 이치고 슈기며 논조조세 증오 근yon 나이 온 니무토송아토 아이민 논나주 이사이진 보라이쇼 신내주쇼조 이동아 공흑해라 구안넌 거무주심여생아신쇼 오승한 노히링이쇼쇼 보세손지에멍에 전여시손 징아신요 개려신시쇼는 너그중 랑여셔진
Now we will have the families of late BWA members come up to Oshoko. Colleen Korea for BWA member Grace Kobata. David Kobata for BWA member Miyoko Kobata. Gary Mukai for BWA member Jean Hisako Mukai. Christine Lamontagne for BWA member Dorothy Sato. Family of BWA member Mary Kiyoko Miyata. George Yamaichi for BWA member Eiko Yamaichi. Family of BWA member Reiko Grace Maeda. Family of BWA member Hatsumi Osajima. And Emi Yamate for BWA member Penny Morimoto. Thank you. Now we will have Daihyo Shoko for Moshe Kadakura, representing families. Joyce Iwasaki, representing the Betsuin board. And Karen Akimoto, representing the BWA. Thank you. Please rise for Gatha, Seiya, which is on page 226 in the large service book. And please remain standing for Sankyemon on page 6 of the large service book and the three treasures, page 3 in the small Dharma school service book.
かわしるよ雨の謎無数の瞳輝けば歓喜に和む我が心安実が湧くの正子よりあまたはよする仏とちやるひる常に守られる聞くに和ねる我が心
So now we are reading the Sankiemon, which is located on page 7 of this larger sutra book. Page 6 for the English speaker. Okay, sorry. Okay. 人参受けがたし、今すでに浮く。仏法聞きがたし、今すでに聞く。好み根性に向かってどせずんば。さらにいずれの章に向かってか好みをどせん。大衆もろともに指針に参謀に帰依し立てまつるべし。自ら仏に帰依し立てまつる。まさに願わくば主情とともに大道を大下して無常意を起こさん。自ら法に帰依し立てまつる。まさに願わくば主情とともに深く胸像に入りて知恵海のごとくならん。自ら僧に帰依し立てまつる。まさに願わくば主情とともに大衆を通りして一切無下ならん。無常人人未明の方は百千万号にも愛をことかたし。我今検問し受持することを得たり。願わくは如来の真実義を下し立てまつらん。ナモ阿弥陀仏。ナモ阿弥陀仏。ナモ阿弥陀仏。ナマンダー仏。ナマンダー仏。Please remain standing for reading of the English version.
Please be seated. What are we? Juseige? What are we doing? Oh, oh, right. Sorry, that's me. And I have a program. Okay, three treasures on page 3. Hard is it to be born into human life, and now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One, now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves our supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please be seated.
And now, Minister's Assistant Sumi Tanabe will give this morning's Dharma talk.
Good morning. How are you? To all of you at home listening in, thank you for joining for this special service. Wow, the 2024 election is finally over. It was a long struggle, wasn't it? And yet they're still counting ballots in some places. It has been dramatic for many months leading up to the November 5th election. I was nervous because it was so important for women to stand up and be counted. As some of you know, I have spent a major portion of my life supporting women and girls in education, in politics, in religion, and in housing. I wanted to give back the love and support that I had received during my lifetime. Over the last several months, I saw the deep divide in our country go deeper. I know change is difficult, but that is one of the basic principles of Buddhism: impermanence, change. Nothing remains the same. Everything changes, for good, for bad, for indifferent. During the campaigns, I know women, many women, stood up for their right. I may have disagreed with some of them, but I respect their right to be heard and to take their position. It was interesting to see how some of these women could take their position when in reality they struggle with equality in their own home and in their own religion. Women cannot go into the priesthood in some religion. They cannot hold leadership position. They're kind of seen as second-class citizens. Then I think of my own religion, which welcomed women from the beginning. Sure, it was tough, but women played a very important role in Jodo Shinshu-ha. Women played an important role in national, state, and local government and election. Some succeeded, some did not. In election, you have winners and you have losers. When I was chanting the sutra, there came to me some calmness and peace. To be in the moment brought a refreshing change in my attitude and in my outlook. So if you look at the Onaijin, the altar, you will see portraits of two ladies. The one on your right is Eshinni. Who was Eshinni? Come on. I know you know who she was. Someone. Shinran's wife, right? And on the left is Kakushinni, Shinran's youngest daughter. She and Shinran had 6 children, and she was the youngest. Now, if you look over Kakushinni, you see a portrait of Renyo, considered the reformer of Jodo Shinshu Hongwa Jiha. And on the left, over Eshinni, you see Shinran. And then to the right, you see a portrait over there of the current Gomonshu, the spiritual leader. Just think, many years separate them, but they're all connected back to Shinran, thanks to Kakushinni. I don't need to tell you the history of Eshinni, I'm sure all of you know, but it bears repeating. We celebrate the lives of Eshinni Kakushinni, Lady Yoshiko, Ohtani, and others, because they were important in the life of our religion. Eshinni and Kakushinni represented women in the Kamakura period. They were women who actively participated in the history of Japan. As you all know, we really didn't have any proof of Shinran until Eshinni's letters were discovered in the archives of the Honzan in 1921. The letters talked and revealed about events in Shinran's life, as well as the condition in Japan. Eshinni was the daughter of a high-ranking samurai. She was well-educated, and she was a landowner. That must have been uncommon, as usually property is handed down from the firstborn son. But lucky for Shinran, when he married Eshinni, he had some financial security. I don't know the circumstances how Shinran met Eshinni, but Reverend Jones said this morning in the Dharma school, Dharma message, that they must have met because Honen was in the area and Eshinni and Shinran was there at the same time. They met and they married in 1210 and lived in Ichigo, where Shinran was exiled. Later they moved to Kanto area and returned to Kyoto around 1223. They lived in Kyoto, but it became necessary for Eshinni to go back to Ichigo to take care of her property. Not only did she have to take care of her property, she had to take care of her children, her grandchildren, her servants' families, so she had a big responsibility. Famine was hit the area, so people were starving. There was not enough food for everyone to eat. She had the responsibility to prevent them from starving. So while she was back in Ichigo, she couldn't see Shinran, who was back in Kyoto with Kakushinni caring for him. She passed away in 1268, never seeing Shinran again. Kakushinni was born in 1224 She was born the year that Shinran began working on his major work, Kyo Gyo Shin Sho, true teaching practice and the realization of the Pure Land Way. Kakushinni moved to Kyoto with her parents when she was about 9 years old. She married her first husband, Hino Hidotsuna, and had a son. When Eshinni returned to take care of her land, Kakushinni stayed behind to care for her father. He died in 1263 at age 90. Can you imagine in those days when people didn't live beyond 30 or 40? Here was this man who lived to be 90 years old. 3 years after Shinran's death, Kakushinni married her second husband, Onomiya Zennen. They had 2 sons. Shinran's ashes were moved to Zennen's estate. Zennen was a property owner. Although the ancestral hall belonged to Shinran's disciples, Zennen gave the property in which it stood for Kakushinni. She said the land would be jointly owned by Shinran's disciples. Shinran believed in the equality of all and that no one was excluded on the basis of class, gender, education, or other biases. Kakushinni also specified that the upkeep of the ancestral hall should be inherited by Shinran's descendants. Eshinni and Kakushinni have had a profound impact on Jodo Shinshu. So as you look back at the Onaiji, you see the picture and the current Gomonshu over there. Just think that one family has existed all these 800 years. It's rather amazing. The current Gomonshu's grandmother was Lady Yoshiko Ohtani. She was important for BWA in particular because she revitalized the Fujinkai, and she was a profound speaker. I was privileged to have met her, her husband, their son and daughter-in-law and grandson. The current Gomonshu was about 16 years old when I met him here in San Francisco during BCA Centennial celebration. These 3 ladies, Eshinni, Kakushinni, Lady Ohtani, and others like Lady Takeko, Lady Kujo, were all remarkable role models for us. And as Reverend Micah said this morning earlier, the mother of Lenyo was also important. Let us continue walking the Nembutsu path. Let us be grateful for their lives by reciting Namo Amida Butsu. Please put your hands together. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Sumi. Please rise for Gatha, Ondokusan II, on page 76 in the small Dharma School service book.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Thank you. Please be seated.
Are there any announcements?
Good morning, everyone. I just want to announce that the last installment in Reverend Kenji Atako-Hoshi's class, A Contemporary Approach to Shin Buddhism, will be this Wednesday. It will be this Wednesday, November 20th at 7 p.m. It will be in person at the Betsuin office, although it will also be live streamed on Zoom. If you want the link, you can go to the office and get it there. Thank you. Oh, and we also have a clipboard to sign up right there.
Good morning. I'm Joyce Iwasaki, and I'm inviting you to the annual Betsuin General Meeting, which is December 8th, and there are flyers in the back. We're going to review this year's accomplishments and challenges, and we're going to have a financial report of how the Betsuin is doing, and we're going to have a presentation of the Dharma Center project. So please attend. Thank you.
Morning. On behalf of the Curry Cook-Off Committee, I'd like to thank all of you who helped out with yesterday's event, especially since I'm here, the BWA members who donated desserts for the Curry Cook-Off. The desserts were supplied by the women's group from Wesley and BWA here, and so thank you very much. I was on the committee, so I helped out, but I started my meal with dessert, so I had 3 of them eventually. So thank you very much for. But there are others of you who helped out as well, so thank you.
Okay, thank you to Rinban Sakamoto, Reverend Mikame, Reverend Michael Jones, Dennis Akizuki, Sumi Tanabe, Organist Elaine Jones, and AV Coordinator Steve Onishi. I would also like to thank Diane Fujioka, Tricia Yamaichi, and Barbara Sasaki for researching the deceased members and for writing to the families. Thank you also to Arlene Mori, Holly Lowe, Barbara Sasaki, Christine Kawashima, Linda Iwasaki, Emi Tsutsumi, and Linda Ichinaga for the refreshments. Thank you for attending this morning's service. We will now have closing gassho. Please come forward for incense offering, and I hope to see everyone in the multi-purpose room for refreshments.
Will you please join in gassho? Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much, everyone. Please come forward for Shoko. Thanks, Heather. job.